welcome to the Radiant Black Podcast, a show on the Massiveverse, a superhero universe created by Kyle Higgins and Marcel Acosta, as well as, obviously, Radiant Black. Today, I'm your host, Bashar, and I'm joined by my friends and my fellow co-hosts, Matt and Charlie. How are you guys doing?
Pretty good. Busy Sunday, but it's been nice to have the Massiveverse popping off with two arcs ongoing. So it's cool to get to talk about Dead Lucky. It's been a few months. So yeah, I'm excited.
I'm doing good too. Lots of new characters around the board we've been being introduced to, so I'm excited to dive into those with you guys. And like Matt said, busy Sunday, but yeah, happy to be here with you guys talking about Dead Lucky. How are you doing, Bash?
Good. Yeah, it's exciting to get into Arc 2 of Dead Lucky. It's something we've been looking forward to. I know it's one of your favorite titles in the Massiverse, and I feel like we agree it doesn't get enough love. Great cover by I think it's French Carlo and I think he does his own coloring as well. Yeah, so he's the only signature there, like the little Pyre reflection and blue's different. I feel like for Dead Lucky cover A, and I like it.
Like the Morrow badge there on the suit, a little touch there. So yeah.
Yeah, it reminds me of that cover with the villain from Last Arc with Dead Lucky in the palm of his hand and stuff like that. It kind of seems like a reverse of that. So I like that. I like that little theming.
Yeah, Pyre seems to be an important part of the Massiverse moving forward. And if you're at this issue, maybe a little spoiler. Definitely, we got what's revealed. Definitely gives us the impression that that's true because, well, not only are they in the cover of the next like 3 or 4 issues of Dead Lucky, and they've been the first wave of the Massiverse card game that's coming out in 2024. So Pyre is one to look out for. Dead Lucky number 5. Snag them while you can. I couldn't find any locally.
Yeah, no, Pyre. It's a big deal, and yeah, our tier list is immediately invalid with Pyre at the B tier. He's definitely rising up the ranks now that we have a little bit of an idea of who Pyre actually is now, and I'm hooked. I'm waiting for the next issue now. I'm eagerly anticipating it now after just the Pyre hook alone. But this issue was a lot of moving parts. It's a new arc, but I feel like there's a lot to bite into here.
I like kind of all the info we got on the city and kind of everything that Bibi's done kind of in the aftermath of last issue, and just seeing her in this new role, kind of infiltrating Morrow from the inside out, but just kind of seeing her leading a whole new squad and getting to learn a bunch of those new squad members and stuff. There's a lot of great stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of like after the Savior War in The Walking Dead, when you have to take in some people from the other side. There's a lot of conflicting sides and a lot of motives that it's really interesting and a lot of intrigue going forward.
Yeah.
So the creative team for this issue, we've got writer Melissa Flores, artist French Carlo Magno, colorist Natalia Yacono, incredible team here, and letter of course Becca Carey. Issue titled The Sellout. And this is, of course, Dead Lucky number 7. I think this issue, in comparison to others, like the color panel wasn't as bright as the other issues, even though there are some bright colors. Overall, it seemed to be a darker issue, which falls in line with the tone and the themes that are explored within this issue. The whole issue is cool because it's like a mission, and you get a peek into what the mission is going to be in the first few pages because there's this girl who's trapped in a building in Bucharest, Romania. And you get Winston there, who's getting some intel, and then obviously Kane debriefing Bibi. I like the Bibi like op suit that she has, where it's like it's less like superhero-y, more of like a spy, more espionage-y. Really cool. It's really weird. Like, what did you guys think right off the bat, seeing like panels of Kane and Bibi reluctantly working together, but then seeing the drones on her side for once?
Yeah, I think it's pretty interesting. Like it's on Morrow's perspective, it's kind of hard. Like, do they trust Bibi knowing like that? Like, does she completely agree with everything they're doing? But I just love. I think Bibi, she's selling it very good. How like I think she kind of gets like some wins from doing this, but also like it benefits both sides kind of thing. So I just kind of I like that for sure.
Yeah, I like the way they're going about it, and I like how we already questioned like Bibi, you're working for Morrow and stuff like that. Like characters are already having issues with these with these already, and there's a lot you can get a lot of intel from being on the inside of the enemy lines. Even it's opportunistic for Bibi. She can save lives and also find out what the weaknesses are of Morrow to take them down eventually, right? Because the whole thing is to avenge Eddie, right? And yeah, it's going to be a big undertaking because Morrow has a lot of plans in store. I really like how Bibi was being used to save other people and the way they were manipulating that when she was going outside the country, which is like, oh, you can save everybody. Meanwhile, it gives Morrow more time to work without Bibi back home. Like, there's a lot of irons in the fire here, and I thought it was really well done.
Yeah, there's mutually beneficial component. The public relations from using Bibi. People seem like it seems like not only is Bibi making a difference and they like her, but she's also helping Morrow look better because the PR for Morrow is going down better. People feel safer apparently, and they don't feel as offended by Morrow as they did in the first arc. And of course, there's obviously some embellishing to that. But I think one thing that's really cool is when she rescues the girl. I think that's like a tangible way for them to point out like the difference she's making, and it's just like, yeah, look, like like it's a billionaire and like there's a ransom situation, but this little girl, like you made a difference in her life.
Yeah. I think Bibi had her funniest line for me, anyways, in this issue when she's like, "Oh, we got to go save another girl from like the Nabisco Harris or something like that or whatever," where she's talking about the. I do kind of like it, but it's kind of dark. It's like you are saving them from child trafficking, but also you have to think of who isn't being saved from child trafficking because their parents aren't billionaires, right? Like it's so dark and it's so complex. Where even when we're saving people, it's like, oh my god, it's heavy. It's like war and stuff like that. Even the battles you win, aren't entirely won because of what you have to sacrifice to get them.
Yeah, for sure. I love how she just comes in here, like she has this whole squad with her too, but she can just like go in completely by herself. And I kind of like the switch up action in this issue. Like she's got to be more stealth, so she's not allowed to use her bots. So she's kind of just has to depend on her own like lightning power and kind of use her own weapons and stuff. So yeah, some of the action we get in this issue was really cool. I loved it.
Yeah. I like that she recruited like Shorty, Torrid, and I think Factor from the gang into her team. I think it shows you just how complex like the whole situation is. There's a lot of literally moving parts. I do like this whole like. First of all, we get the return of Max Sands, or one of my favorite characters in
the characters none of us really got properly.
It's cool to see that he's the mainstay in the Dead Lucky, though. I like that each title has their own unique characters, but
it's the reporter we know. He stood out the most to us. Like it's hard to remember Alicia Hardcastle's name or Alicia from Radiant Red. Yeah, right. Like she was great, but like Max Sands, we remember him. He's memorable, and maybe he learned from giving away the position of the resistance during the attack. Right? Like maybe that was just a blunder, and he can be super useful using his journalistic talents to really help the resistance.
Yeah, I like how like it's like they're all so embedded within such a sketchy situation that even Georgia is like super convincing to the point where she has like Bibi doubting herself and Georgia. it's like they're all in too deep,
Yeah, I was confused. I was lost in the sauce. Going, oh my god, like she speaks the exact language that you want to hear. It was really, really well.
Yeah, no, it was great, and I do just want to point out too, Max Sands. I think he's getting less and less annoying. The more I read of him, so I'll give props on that. There's some character development there.
Yeah, it seems like he was less more of a hindrance and definitely more useful.
This issue. I don't know. There's something about this issue that gave me the impression that like Melissa feels more confident as a writer now. Like maybe like she's just taking on so many titles. She's writing so many different comics, and congratulations to her. Well, happy birthday, because yesterday, July, I think 29th, it was her birthday.
Yes.
A big happy birthday to Melissa. Yeah, but like she's doing a lot of titles. Spider-Gwen now, Echo, and Marvel is Unlimited or whatever it is, and then obviously Power Rangers and whatever. She's still doing Dead Lucky and all that good stuff. She did some story in Chino #1 or Xeno or whatever, however that's pronounced, which was excellent. And so it's like I think this is the first time I really felt that she really feels confident as a writer, like super confident to where like, okay, this is just another like monthly book and I'm kicking ass. And like you felt the dialogue, I don't know, maybe it's just me, the dialogue felt sharper, the whole sequence flowed a little bit better. My only one complaint about Dead Lucky, I would say, is that it's very minor, that there's not a lot of double like spread double page spread splashes. Like it's not as common.
Yeah,
in
that's
the book.
true. Yeah, I didn't
They do
I
a
didn't
lot of
really
single
realize
page.
that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
there's not a
that's
lot
true.
of
That's true.
yeah.
You're right.
So they should do more of those. Obviously, like don't do them just because we
When
have
it
to do them
fits.
when the
Yeah,
moment.
just
Yeah,
for the
when
sake
it
of it.
fits.
Yeah.
Because when you have an artist team like that, when you have like Mattia and
Yeah.
French, I think it's in your favor to give them more scenes where they could really
Did
show
we get
off.
one for Eddie's sacrifice? Was that the?
Yeah,
I
what
think we
was
got
that?
one or two. That's it in the whole series. Like they were in the last like 3 issues or 2 issues, and then we didn't get anything in 1, 2, 3, 4, or 7 because I reread all of those recently.
Cool. Yeah, if that's the biggest like issue with it, I mean, it's a solid book for sure. Like, yeah, I mean, a spread page would be nice, but yeah, I can't even think of like a complaint to make about this issue. The art's really solid. Like, French is incredibly solid with what he puts out there, and I really enjoyed the writing in this issue, especially like Bibi. I found I really liked her motivations and stuff like that, and just the way everybody was used was really good.
Yeah, I think it kind of, for me, it felt like a kind of good ease into a new arc for sure. But I know like we've talked about it a bit, we're dancing around it, but yeah, the end in this, and like kind of the more stuff we learned from the flashbacks too and stuff, really like are making me like just look so forward to this whole arc and the next few issues. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. What also like with Pyre, there's like almost looks like a romantic connection, right? Not to jump the gun, we're getting there. We throughout the issue, we got flashbacks to this big mission.
Yeah.
And
Someone mentioned that they were like Bibi's like she seems to have like romantic connections with like a lot of people in this book, you know.
Yeah, Bibi, yeah, she's not alone on Valentine's Day, that's for sure. But what's really interesting is like imagine it's like ghosts of boyfriends past now for Bibi. How I mean, you have someone romantically interested watching all your other future relationships and stuff like that. So that's very weird. And it does paint the way we see the ghosts differently now when we look at Pyre. So I feel like stuff like that really strengthens the reread and stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I remember when we first saw him, like I totally just thought he was one of Schiff's goons and stuff. Maybe he just grabbed his tech and stuff. I love like the more personal connection to it, and this kind of feels for me like Dead Lucky's Hellbent kind of thing, like the most personal villain. And I just I'm digging it so far.
How do you think Pyre came back?
I will see. I mean.
And is this Pyre? Could this be a robot? Because like the spirit's still with her. Because does that invalidate the electronic spirit that's with her if Pyre's back?
Honestly, I have no idea. That's a great question.
That's why I like these discussions because I haven't thought of it.
There's some crazy technology in this book and in this universe. So yeah, who really knows?
We don't know.
They got
like,
some
the electrical impulses that Bibi can read. Maybe Morrow somehow used those to get some kind of consciousness for some androids, or maybe this is Pyre and that says something more about
some life model decoys out there, and they're just tossing her. Yeah, love it.
It could be like a android they do to fuck with her, but you never know. The way he like introduces himself, it kind of seems like there's more to this. But I mean, it makes sense though, given the theme of the book, and like there's a theme of the book that I feel like we kind of drifted away from as we focused more on the tech aspect, but just the dead like component of the book, the spiritual component. So I think this probably will tie in more to that and like that weird realm we saw when she went in that one issue when she got that like weird flashback. Like I think someone compared it to the Black Panther thing at the moment. Yeah. So it's like, maybe that it'll have to do with that, but no, I'm this is one of those things where like I don't want to think about it too much because I'm actually really intrigued with where it's going. But I think the one thing that intrigued me even just as much in this issue was how the alliance that Dead Lucky is built upon, the foundation of Dead Lucky minus the bots and the dead ghosts, but like the allies, her actual allies, it's kind of crumbling because they're all beginning to have like self-doubt and they're all beginning to doubt their own like convictions. And you can see that with literally everybody involved. So I think that's like for example, look at the rift that's like forming between her and Maria now and their disagreement on like the whole outcome of the movement. So that, you know what I mean? Like that's particularly interesting for me. And then just seeing like there's like the whole Bibi's kind of not surprise, not healthily dealing with the death of Eddie because she hasn't gone to the funeral. So she hasn't really like had the closure or like really processed those feelings.
It's demons on top of demons, right? Like she still hasn't gotten over her platoon, and then Eddie on top of that. You're not going to deal with those well.
Yeah, and now what's his name, a ghost showing back at the end is gonna make it a lot harder to deal with all those problems.
We got to call this Ghost of Boyfriend's Past this episode. Come on, his name is Ghost, whatever. But yeah, no, it's intriguing. Like the dynamics are there, and you can see a line coming from Ghost, like how are you going to stop me? You couldn't even keep you couldn't even keep Eddie alive and stuff like that because he knows her personally, and so he knows those villains are always the most personal. And I do think Pyre is going to be a huge deal beyond this arc, even.
Yeah, for sure. And also, one thing I'm super curious about is now that like Bibi's identity is out there too, right? Like like everyone knows she's dead lucky too. I'm curious, do people know who her like parents are, or like that they own like the Chai Mexico or anything like that? Like I'm curious if that's gonna come into play. Like, oh, that's Bibi's parents, or like, you know what I mean? That's Dead Lucky's parents, and then it's gonna get like super busy. I wonder if like that's going to come into play, or obviously the villains can start using the parents, like that typical stuff. But yeah, I'm curious about that.
Mara's probably paying to keep the business going, right? Because like it burned down, and isn't it back up? It's back up and running. Did it not get burned down?
It is.
Like 4 or 5? Yeah. Yes. So maybe Mara's finding them, and it doesn't matter now because they're associated with Mara. Yeah. And Mara's so powerful that it's almost like, what are you gonna do? Like people like Bibi and Dead Lucky because she does well and she's connected to Mara, so there's extra reason not even to go after her. So I think she might be kind of safe, but that could happen.
Yeah, especially with like the tech overreach of Morrow, she probably feels a little reassured with her parents, but there's also the aspect of like, if I push too hard against Morrow, are they going to like
that's
kidnap my family and shit, because they have bots like all over the city.
Yeah,
they probably track every one of them, right? Like I'm assuming if Morrow is as Morrow as we think they are, they probably track everyone, like the Bibi, the Lopez Yang family. They probably track them all down, right?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I love I love that scene where I think it was with Bibi talking to either Maria or Valentine. It might have been Maria. We're like, oh, look, it's great now. Things are great with Morrow. And it's like sunny and there's like a robot just hanging there with a kid and stuff like that. It's like, is it though? Like those robots are still creepy as hell. Like, and I like that too, because we didn't just say like, oh yeah, all is good. They're like, I think it's still like kind of screwed up here. And like, I don't know, Morrow still doesn't seem to be doing what's right. Just because it looks a bit better doesn't mean that under the surface, they're still not trying to get their goals. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, that was definitely from their perspective for sure. Because the inner gang's gone, but we know for sure that they were causing havoc for sure, but they weren't the true villains in there. So yeah, I just
it's a quick issue, Like the issue's wrapped.
It is
a lot happens, but it's a quick issue.
Yeah, no, it is. It's kind of just that one mission, kind of setting some groundwork, like, and the aftermath, and then leading to the battle.
It is really interesting though. Yeah, like the cliffhanger changes the story a lot, because now it's like who the fuck is that ghost? And that's just like, is that actually a ghost, or is that some like manifestation of trauma through like brain circuitry or something? Like I don't know. It's just like, it's like, did the powers you inherited give you the ability to like manifest your trauma? Like, you know what I mean? Like maybe the powers triggered something in your brain that made your like PTSD come to life, quite literally.
Or she has like electric powers, and the PTSD is also like working in conjunction with it, right? So it's like the electricity. So it's just like, I think it's a really interesting way to do powers that result in electricity and the ghost and machine kind of story. I think it's a really genius kind of idea that Melissa used, where you have a veteran with PTSD, and that can also be her strength, being able to commune and potentially being able to heal trauma and use that trauma as a means to prevent further trauma for others. I think that's pretty good.
I really want to see like how this is gonna really change the story in an interesting way, but let's look at a few spoilers. I think we covered pretty much everything in the issue for the most part. Like, we didn't like go over like the fine-tuned details of like she took out the guards, but there's like 3 pages of incredible action. So
if you missed some crazy lightning. The lightning's always great. Like,
so let us know below. What do we miss out on? What's the most amazing scene from this issue for you? What drew your eyes to this book? Let us know.
The last page, I can guarantee most 90% will say that. I hope will say the last page.
Reminded me of Rogue Sun, right at the end with Marcus and stuff coming back. Is those kind of reveals like, oh shit, big game changer, someone from your past that knows you. It was good. Like I'm in
issue 8 though. No, I agree. And issue 8, like the cover is them fighting, and it's like it says Bibi faces unexpected resistance in her plan to destroy Morrow, and her new foe begins to enact his own plans for the city. Will Bibi be able to survive long enough to see it through? Okay, wait. Then issue 10, because we have the next 3. Issue 9, sorry, it says, still reeling from the shocking discoveries of last issue. So 8 will be another revelation. Bibi returns to San Francisco, but with Pyre always one step ahead and even more powerful, and an even more powerful foe moving in the shadows. Is her city still safe for her? So new villain even. And then Dead Lucky 10, they're back to back. So it seems like they're both fighting, like, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So they're both like backed up against the wall fighting a common enemy. So they're friends temporarily. And it says pushed to the breaking point. And with her allies' resolve wavering, Bibi makes a deal with an old friend that could change everything. I think that's her and Pyre making a deal. And can San Francisco be saved? Does Bibi even want to save it anymore? And what is the horrifying secret of Jimmy Moss? So I'm really excited because Pyre, we're not getting rid of that. It's not like one of those Marvel things where they like put something big and the next week it's like, oh, we're just kidding. And it's like this Pyre thing is going to
be the maker for like 7 years later. We'll do Ultimate Invasion. No, you're right though. One thing I don't mind. So anyway, keep going.
I'm just hyped that we're getting Jimmy Moss back because like he was pretty menacing, you know what I mean? And I feel like there's a lot more to him. Maybe he's like one of those like Akira looking monster things when he finally he's
like
creepy,
Arkham City Joker or something would be pretty sweet. That's one thing. I think it's interesting that we have the Pyre thing. Like this could go in the Winter Soldier arc, right? Where it's like you're fighting against your friend who's been brainwashed. Obviously, this could be like the Darth Vader version of Pyre, right? Where like these evil forces take you and rehabilitate you, and then they just warp your mind. We have no idea. Like I can't.
Yeah.
Jimmy Moss coming back too.
I think you're good. Just add on to that. I'm starting to think like that maybe Pyre just like I'm reading the panel now of the flashback and like Bibi like it's great kind of talking to them, but it's interesting. It shows that Ghost to me it seems he's been a soldier a lot longer. Like he's kind of been in this a lot longer. So like he's been through a lot more, and like maybe Bibi's kind of a rookie in this. And even like he's kind of comforting over like her first love. He's like, oh, I know what that feels like. I've been through a bunch. So like it kind of feels like he's kind of been through some stuff. So I'm curious about like his motives before this point, kind of what he's up to and what his intentions with Bibi are.
Yeah, and also like their bond is a serious relationship because like it's like you're over there fighting overseas, so that's like a bond that people have for life, and then you apply romantic elements on top of that. So like this is a person that's really close to you and probably
could
knows
be genuine. It could be genuine.
I think it is genuine.
Yeah, I very well think it could be. Yeah.
Issue 6, we see Pyre for the first time in costume, in the scene, and when Shift tells Bibi that the plans are changed and they're not going to fight with her, they start to turn around, but like Pyre's still there. Like he's looking while Shift's already leaving. And then Shift yells at him. He's like, Pyre, time to go. So there's still like a little bit of sentiment there for sure. Yeah.
Or it could be, spoiler, like an Omni-Man thing. Like he was sent in to do something with Bibi and then like developed a relationship and then was like, okay, like I kind of feel for this girl now. So
well, I mean, they had feelings for a while.
Sure. But he could have been using her like Debbie, right? Like how Nolan was using Debbie for a long time and then fucked her over, but developed.
They seem like they've had a sexual relationship. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Sure.
It seems like they've hooked up for sure. Even if not, it seems like they have a more intimate relationship based on the fact that they're both veterans and they understand what it's like to be a veteran and not what's the word? A civilian. So it's like for them they have that connection because as we saw obviously in this issue, which was a really nice moment to see that like he understands her. But I'm really like that's another component I'm really curious about of exploring within this story is like how did that relationship evolve before it all went down the shitter? Because that was really good writing. That was like genuinely interesting.
Yeah, I was intrigued. And then before even the reveal at the end, I was like, oh, interesting.
I wasn't even surprised that Bibi was like wanted to get it on with another good-looking person. It's just like at this point, it's every issue kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Don't know at this point. Like every day could be your last, right? Like especially at this point. So it's like, I don't know, what do you do?
Do you guys?
But this one felt more genuine, right?
100%.
Yeah. Like there was something probably there for a minute, but it's like with like Maria, it was just like, you know what I mean? Like in the moment kind of thing.
Yeah. Do you guys think that Shift knew about Pyre and Bibi's connection?
Yeah,
I think so because he said he looked her up or some shit. Remember, he said he read her file,
Okay.
right? So, and then so, like people can keep telling her that. Like, even this issue, someone else told her they read her file, and
Yeah.
like when they were asking her about how she feels, like, and then they were like, "Don't bullshit me. I read your file." I'm just like, okay. So I think I think Shift being the shifty mofo he is, he probably knows. But if he doesn't, that would be interesting as well. So it's really like there's a lot they could do with this. I'm also curious to see, like, I think one thing, like, again, I mentioned this a few times, but it's actually so interesting because they showed it from like different facets. But like the alliance, because it's not just my gang that we infiltrated Morrow with, or like my Winston who like I got really close with, or like these like revolutionaries who are now joining my. It's like every single person she's working with has doubts, even the ones that aren't on her side, and it's making the whole thing like super interesting because it almost feels like House of Cards, where it's like everyone has an agenda. Do you know what I mean? Like everyone has an agenda. Everyone's trying to do something, and like Morrow is this vehicle. And then what makes it even more interesting is like we haven't even looked into the Jimmy Moss of it all. Like we've gotten like peaks, but it's just like I can't wait for that.
I almost need Varys and Littlefinger to explain exactly what's going on. Like have a little like walk through the garden. But yeah, it is. There's a lot of play for just 7 issues of a series when we already had like Eddie's really cool arc and that whole 6-issue arc and stuff like that. So there's a lot of balls in the air, and it's really interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, for sure. I think also one thing I want to praise the creative team. I think it's hard to keep the momentum going and get people very excited after an issue like 5 and 6 where you had so much battle, so much death, so much payoff. But I think they did an incredible job keeping the momentum going in this issue. It really feels like things are just as tense. Like, yeah, we have a bit of a breather with that fabricated facade of peace, but it really feels like things are about to blow up again, and there's going to be another war or battle or something. So props to the creative team for managing to keep that mood there and keeping things very exciting. I love the discussion on the Discord. Like so many people were excited to talk about this issue and what's happening moving forward. So
and that cliffhanger especially I think is like the strongest cliffhanger so far, the one that got me the most. At least I'm like, oh shit, like this is like one of the people that's like connected to Bibi's powers and knows her personally in the real life. So there's a lot of implications. Sorry.
Yeah, and there's more food for us in the back, right?
No, I like the patience of that. Just like I feel like that's something you could have revealed pretty early on, like as a hook, like someone from Bibi's past is here. But I like the patience, and it's pretty ballsy that they waited for that long to kind of like give Bibi her own like personal villain, really. But I just love it. Now we have this whole world set, and we just have so much going on, and it's great.
Yeah.
While I was reading it, I was like, "Is it gonna be Eddie? Like, is it gonna be like Eddie?"
Yeah, like I genuinely didn't know. That would be crazy. That would be.
But this is even more crazy when you think about it, because it really it throws everything we've known since the beginning of the issue like out the water. Because it's just like, if that's not him, like what you know what I mean? Like, are those people? So it's like another question is like, are those other two alive? Like, are Tanky and Spaceman alive? Like, could you know what I mean? Are alive in this form, or like pseudo alive or whatever? I don't know. It's interesting.
I do think we'll definitely see Eddie as the electric energy like ghost thing before the end of the arc. I think we'll see that maybe if like Bibi has a low point,
that'd be sweet.
And then maybe or she's not talking to people and needs a reason to reach out, and Eddie goes, hey, he could be a little bit stubborn because he can kind of they're like had that like best friend relationship on where they can kind of like give it to each other, and they know all the buttons to press and like know when people are putting on facades and stuff.
That'd be great.
Yeah, and it gives Eddie kind of thing like he wasn't in the military, but he kind of died like kind of like almost like a death, like he was basically part of the service, right? So it almost kind of like honors him in a way and kind of makes him like almost on Bibi's level in that way. But I don't know. It's hard to tread for Melissa because I know she's not a veteran and stuff like that, and I know she's running it by all the people and stuff like that to make sure that she's trying to tell this story that's really good for victims. You even have the number at the end of some of the issues for reaching out for those with PTSD, but you just want to make sure you don't overstep.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, look at that. What do you got there, Bash? Oh, you're muted there.
Obviously, the Massiveverse team let us know that there's no more ratios going forward, but these variants are still hard to find. So this is the cover A for number 8, and we already read the solicit. Obviously, we've got more Pyre, which is very exciting. But then there's one more variant, really cool variant by Johnson. What's the full name here? Oh, Matthew Johnson. So Matthew Johnson did this really sweet cover.
Wow.
I just want to say, yeah, it's nice. And you get virgin covers. Like all these covers that you get from the Massiveverse, these covered bees, most of them are virgin covers. Do you know like getting a virgin cover for cover price of a really nice like cover, if you like it, that's pretty sweet because most of the time they're ratios. So these are going to be hard to find. If you're a cover collector, if you like the variants, I recommend you put in your pre-orders. The best way to support these series is not to get it at the store, but to actually put in your pre-orders. It makes a huge difference, huge. So if you're loving the book, sorry, go ahead.
More books end up on the shelf when you pre-order. If people see a lot of pre-orders, they'll order some extra ones to put on the shelf for people that don't know about the series to catch their eye and get into it.
Exactly. And it's good for the health of the book. It's good for comic stores to be able to gauge interest in the long term, as opposed to like people just buy number one and stop, which happens a lot with many books.
This is a perfect poster for like cover price. Yes. Basically, you just put it on the wall. It looks like a poster. It's really nice.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree. And it's really nice yellow. It's a really nice like yellow cover that, in my opinion, the colors are very suitable for the Dead Lucky, aesthetic. So grab those if you're interested. And then for issue 9, we only have the one incredible cover by Rod Rice, who of Cowl, of so many different incredible books. That's a really nice cover. So just one, but for number 10, you got another Pyre, but then we also have the connecting cover by Stefano Simeone that's with all the Walking Dead 20th anniversary cover. So for those of you that are collectors of Dead Lucky, put in your orders, get those covers, get the issues. FOC is soon for, I know, at least for number 8. But other than that, I think that's pretty much it. Anything you guys want to add for Dead Lucky before we head on out?
No, Andrew is a good pick. Just for if we had a Radiant Pink Walking Dead cover, what Walking Dead character do you think would be on the pink cover? And why is it Princess?
I haven't read Walking Dead, so I
haven't
don't
finished it all either. I've only read like the first 100, to be honest.
No, I'm just kidding. Andrew is a really good choice for the pink cover. It's really cool the way they did that, and it makes the Massiveverse feel all the more important, which is nice to see. It's great.
No, but your real question is sorry, what you really wanted to say is when they do the Invincible 20th anniversary covers, why is Anissa going to be the one that's with Dead Lucky? That's the question. Why is Anissa going to be the one?
We're not opening the Anissa draft today, folks.
That would be like the best fight ever. Like Anissa versus Dead Lucky. Oh, that'd be great. Yeah, that'd be fantastic. Really cool. My god. Yeah. But so that's our hint at telling you guys to do these. See that theme you guys just did for The Walking Dead? That's awesome. We're buying that. Obviously, many of us are buying the fuck out of it. Do that exact same thing for Invincible. For
Kitty versus Battle Beast in the background. Let's go.
Jeez, come on.
Like holding onto the tusks. Come on, let's go.
Radiant Pink and Monster Girl. You know what I mean? Like different covers. Like there's so much you could do with the Invincible. I would also argue just real quick. When you look at the Invincible Season 2 poster, the aesthetic of Invincible, just when you look at the Radiant Black animation we got, it's a lot closer to Radiant Black. So it wouldn't look like something completely. It would look like it fits. It'd be like TMNT crossing over with Uzagi. Like it makes sense, right?
Natural.
So it's exactly natural, and it would work well together because they're all kind of cosmic or like science heroes and shit like that. Anyway,
my long shot hope though would be like if you had Radiant Black help in the big like war going forward in the big like Viltrumite war, like that would be amazing since like Space Racer's probably not going to get used or like you're not going to get the TNG crew in there to come help. So definitely like, that'd be a nice touch, Radiant Black, and by then we'll have 5 years of Radiant Black or whatever. Like that'd be cool. Like if Image wanted to like introduce people to these characters, you want to own the world, Amazon. I mean, this is a good way to start taking the media over. But yeah, anyways, I digress. Dead Lucky 7, hell of an issue, and looking forward to 8.
Yeah. Pick up Dead Lucky, please. It's such a good book. Support your local comic book shops. Check out the Massiveverse, and we'll see you next time for Dead Lucky number 8. Stay radiant, everyone.